on the agenda would be A, the awarding of a towing contract, and we refer to Chief Collins.
On March 22nd, a request for a proposal went out and hand-delivered to the following towing agencies: Stick Towing and Repair, Wes's Towing, Airline Towing, W&W Towing, and C's Towing. The following agencies returned their packets: Airline Towing, Wes's Towing, W&W Towing, and no others. And the packets have found that they all contain sufficient and adequate information to allow continued consideration. I visited each agency, each business located, and observed their operations, location, security, inventory procedures, and dispatch procedures. With the advice and consent of the village board, at this time, I'm recommending that we go with Airline Towing.
Hi guys, welcome back, and before we let Reading Robert say what he has to say, I'm just going to explain a little bit what this video is about. This video is going to be about the dynamic duel these to Tiffany H. and Robert Hunt, and we're going to look at a couple of past board meetings and just kind of see where they started from as it pertains to their relationship. Just what could be speculated. I honestly don't know if they've ever had anything more than a friendship, a working relationship. But we will look at when they've teamed up, the dynamic duel, when they've gotten together at these board meetings to team up for their cause, but whatever it might be. And as we go along, we're going to look at and kind of analyze the body language of the two and the facial expressions they give back and forth to each other, because like they say, actions speak louder than words, so you guys be prepared. I'm going to pause sometimes and kind of point out some of these actions between Tiffany and Robert. All right, our first example is going to be the tow company. So the chief of police is suggesting a tow company called Airlines, which the village is already going with, but Robert has another tow company that he would like to suggest. Let's go ahead and listen.
I got a couple questions. Thursday, you actually said you want to do a rotation. Now you're not recommending rotation. Now you're recommending straight airline towing now. I was prepared for you to say rotation. That's what you gave me, or that's what they gave me, this board pack. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
To answer your question, yes. I don't know if Dolton has ever done a rotation, but clearly we can entertain a rotation. But if it has to be just the one tow agency, then my first recommendation would be Airline Towing.
So I guess what changed from when you wrote this and typed rotation to right now? What happened? What made you change? I mean, you actually gave me this document and recommended rotation. Yeah. Now, right now, it's totally different. Just trying to figure out what changed your mind.
Going back in the tow agency that we had when we were recommended to not do business with that other agency, the village already had entered into a verbal agreement with one tow agency where we had been keeping our seized vehicles. And from that point forward, we had been doing all our tow service with them. They have been providing adequate service, and if we remain with them, it would not be detrimental to the village.
So let me add a little context to this and why I'm putting this under the dynamic duo, because the company that Robert is suggesting is actually the tow company that Tiffany's baby daddy owns. So you guys, I was actually put onto this information by one of my viewers. So thank you so much for that. So at the time of this board meeting, Tiffany had already had her daughter, and as we can see here, this is the child's father, and he is wearing a Moo towing shirt. And they are at one of the Stop the Violence marches that Tiffany, always advertised during the board meetings, and at one point even got really upset and put the trustees on blast about not supporting her enough with this Stop the Violence event. And in true Tiffany Henyard fashion, she was very disrespectful and unprofessional about it. Let's watch.
Actually came out, walked down the street. But the bad thing about this is I didn't have a lot of support from my board here, you guys. I want to just take a moment to explain to y'all kind of what went on, and that way you'll see what's going on in the village of Dolton. First, I want to let y'all know these was the shirts, Stop the Violence shirts that we gave out that day. We had a non-violent march, and I didn't have the support of my department here in the village of Dolton, and that's terrible. The two board members that did support me was Deborah Denton and Jason House. The other trustees did not show up, and I don't understand why I didn't have the support of my entire board up here.
So wow, some of the trustees were not even with her back then, so her arguing and not getting along with people didn't just start when she became mayor. Imagine that. But let's go ahead and watch a little bit more of this clip, and we will see why some of the trustees might not even want to just deal with Tiffany Henyard. I know it sounds crazy, right? People just want to wash their hands of her and don't even want to be around her crazy talk, but let's listen.
I want to commend Trustee Henyard on any good that she does to try to stop the violence. So when you say that there's division, and there is division, but it didn't start with the balance march. Only village that has an elected official to go Facebook Live and talk about other elected officials. I've been called bobblehead on social media by an elected official. I've been to all the new trustees have been talked about on social media by an elected official, which is unbecoming of an elected official. If you're an elected official, there's a certain amount of respect and decorum that you should carry yourself on social media. So before the violence march, before any of that, Trustee Henyard's social media has been very reckless towards me and the other trustees.
I know that my colleagues are upset, but that's my social media. All I do is state the facts of what we do in this village, which is they feed you a load of crap. Y'all need to stop being upset about what's on social media and start worrying about what we do here in this village. That's two separate entities, two separate things. That's your personal life. That's what you...
I find it funny how she's trying to say she separates personal from business when this video is actually about how she is bringing her personal life, which is trying to hook up her baby's daddy with a towing contract with the village of Dolton. You guys, another thing I found interesting when she was talking about people not showing up to her violence march, she gave kudos to the entities and the companies that showed up, but she excluded W&W Towing.
That was wonderful. Weather was wonderful. We had food trucks out there. We had Martin Johnson, he's an activist from Chicago, showed up. J. Mark Green, activist from Chicago, showed up. Jason, what's his last name? Jason Warner, he was there. He was the person from The Voice. I don't know if you guys watched that on NBC. He sung. It was really nice. Last but not least, Menard showed up. I want to give a special shout out to Tony over at Menards. He brought his HR director to give you guys jobs. We had Dora the Explorer from the daycare, which was directly across the street. She showed up. The electrician union and plumbers union was there. We had DJ Rucker. He's a Dolton resident. He DJ'd for free. We had Food for Less out there. And a 15-year-old DJ was there as well. Thank you guys. Stay woke, pay attention, stay tuned. Thank you.
So as we can see, there was no mention of W&W Towing, but we know they were there. I think she did this that way it wouldn't raise any red flags or maybe even discussion on it, because I know people living there could already see the connection between her, the tow company, and how she was fighting for that tow company to get business from Dolton. That being said, let's get back to Robert and his argument to go with a different tow company than the one the police chief is recommending.
I guess, who were we doing business with before, you said?
We were doing business with GTS Towing.
GTS Towing. And you said it was a verbal agreement with
Not GTS. GTS's contract expired in June of last year.
Okay.
From that point forward, we had been doing business with Airline Towing, but it was not under contract.
Why now is it coming up to the board?
Our first day that we were doing business, I believe it was November. However, this issue did come before the board several meetings ago. And I had recommended Airline Towing at that time, and one of the board members recommended that we put this out for an RFP, which we did.
So you guys, I'm pretty sure I can guess what board member decided to put it out for RFP. And for you guys that don't know, basically a RFP is just a request for a proposal. And so if an organization needs some work done, or there needs to be a fulfillment done, like in this case, they need a tow company for the village, they send out a request for proposal to different companies. And then those companies come before the board and try to persuade them into going with their companies. So Robert does decide to let the issue go for now. But we can see when he does that there is a little exchange and looks between Tiffany and Robert Yu. And I guess we don't want to do the place that would, well, I guess, okay, I don't have anything else, let's go ahead and look at that. You guys, do you see that it's kind of like he's looking to her for approval, like, did I do okay? Should I press to issue more right now on Yat? Isn't that interesting? I thought so. But let's go ahead and continue, because I honestly think I should have called this the dynamic trio, because Stan Brown gets in on it, okay? You guys, Brown obviously has been a longtime supporter of Tiffany Henyard.
Now, you know that's not fair, sneaking up on a man eating a Tiffany juicy burger.
And he's actually the one who mentions W&W Towing. Let's watch discussion. Yeah, I'd like to touch on that also, that last paragraph there, Chief Colin. You did make a nice statement there. Each touring agency operating in professional manner suitable to the needs of the village of Dolton. No one agency has a distinct advantage over the other. So they all somewhat equal. Yes, that's correct. And I did see where we said they didn't handle large vehicles the toll right, but they do have access to a large vehicle within a minute if we needed it. So you guys, what I'm hearing right now, while he's questioning the capabilities of W&W Towing, I think he's just using this as a basis to make his seem impartial, right? Because that's what people will do sometimes. They'll throw little things in like, oh well, maybe they don't have enough equipment for us to go with them, to try to make it seem like they're being fair in their argument. I just wanted to point that out. Let's get back to stand, and I'm looking at Wee Toad is just west of us and West Toad is just east of us, and both of those are closer than airline. Yes, so a time is a factor in this. The normal time on tow that I experienced is 30 minutes or less in police tows. Anything more would pretty much just have an officer uselessly waiting for a tow. So I feel comfortable this airline, they had got a complete advantage of these other individuals that did apply because they were actually working for us, so they've been doing business with us since we lost GTS. And you say we lost GTS back in last year, I believe it was June their contract expired. Okay, so that mean for about almost 8 months airline been working for us without a contract. And that was pretty unfair to these other individuals that did apply. It would be a little more fair fees. We were two and rotated because airline has definitely got a jump on everyone else. They have made money on us almost 8 months. And then they get picked. That's unfair. Reason we had airline because they were recommended by the state police. So they still had unfair advantage of whether the state police recommend him or not. These other individuals, they do police tows. Also, don't they? That's correct. Trust. Okay. I think it'd be fair to let someone else get a crack at it. I like the idea when you say you work with 2 of them, so could you consider that the board will make the decision on that? And we will live with whatever the board decides. I do support a rotation if you feel strong by the airline. I like this. See another one. I'm looking at Dolton towing upcoming strong business. Plus they out here in the South super with us. I like to see them get opportunity at that. So there we go. Stan had to go ahead and take it home since Robert couldn't complete his little skit. Okay, that's just my opinion. They went in there with a game plan. Robert, couldn't really finish it off, so Stan went ahead. Tiffany will be very proud of you. Look at him. Look to her for approval. Oh, it's just so obvious how they were in cahoots, and they all planned on it, and there were many things that they teamed up on. Like I said, that's why I call them the dynamic duel. But Stan went ahead, and he followed up as well. I'm looking in that direction to the go up with Wu Tun, so we might have to upgrade it to the dynamic trio. We'll have to see. So you guys, that's going to be it for today. This video did go on a little bit longer than I anticipated, but if you made it all the way through, I really appreciate it. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe on the motion to approve the proposal by WW Towing Motion. By Trusty Hunt, second by Trusty Brown, hi Trusty Pearson, no Trusty Stubbs, I Trusty Muhammad, no Trusty Hunt, I Trusty Henyard, I Four Eyes Motion, carries that company Woo have everything that was required of them. And thanks for watching my video.